Just a quick heads up, this video deals with some pretty extreme religious practices, and there will be images of mummified human remains, so if that sounds like stuff you don't want to deal with, go check out a different video like whichever one I've decided to put here. Hello and welcome to Every Persona Explained, where we take a look at the origin and representation of every persona. I'm your host Winwright, and today we're taking a look at Daisoujou. Daisoujou is among the most unique demons/personas in this series. Sojo is a title given to high-ranking Buddhist priests in Japan, and Daisoujou is a title given to highly virtuous monks. So why is he all dead? In Japan, there is a religion known as Shingon, which is a form of esoteric Buddhism established in the 9th century by a monk named Kukai. The beliefs and rituals of this faith are not fully known, as for a long time there was no written literature about it, and it instead relied on oral transference, similar to Greek mystery cults. One of the rites we do know about is the Senichi Yamagomori, which is where a practitioner would spend 3 years secluded alone on Mount Yudono. However, there was another form of this rite called Dochu Nyujo, where the practitioner would instead be placed in an underground room for either 1,000 days or 3,000 days, I've seen both numbers. While in this room, the practitioner was to meditate, chant sutras, and ring a bell. During this time, they would follow a diet called Mokujiki-gyo, which literally means tree eating, as they eat only things like pine needles and tree sap, while slowly decreasing and eventually stopping their water intake. This diet is designed to decrease the amount of fat and moisture in the body with the eventual goal of self-mummification. This process is known as Sokushinbutsu or Sokushinjobutsu, or becoming a Buddha in the body. If sufficiently mummified, the body is dressed in special robes and enshrined as an object of worship. There are at least 18 confirmed Sokushinbutsu across Japan, mostly in the Yamagata prefecture, with potentially more enshrined away from the public eyes. Now, if this sounds like something you'd be down to try, there's a couple of issues. Firstly, the Niigata University School of Medicine did a study of Sokushinbutsu in the 1960s and determined that the mummification process was done artificially after death. This makes sense, as other places in the world with mummification practices tend to have an arid climate, like Egypt and the Andes Mountains, while Japan's climate is much more humid. However, this wouldn't be the first time a Buddhist did something extreme, so I'm not totally sold that it's impossible. Secondly, this practice was made illegal during the Meiji Restoration of the 19th century, so if you try, you'll get arrested and placed in a cell for years with terrible food and no access to the outside world. Wait, and that's Daisoujou, or rather that's this Daisoujou. So how's it represented in a game? I'd say this design is sufficiently mummified, which is not a phrase I expected to say twice in the span of a few minutes. In one hand, it holds a set of prayer beads, held while meditating or reciting mantras. And in the other hand is a bell that would be rung during the rite. The purpose of the bell was to tell others that the person had died, which they would know because the bell wasn't being rung anymore. I did try to research if the colors of the robes had any significance in Buddhism, and there are a lot of different branches and sects, and they all seem to have different meanings for different colors. Apparently, in Southeast Asia, India, and Sri Lanka, yellow robes can represent light, knowledge, and the wisdom of the Buddha, and also the desire to overcome ignorance and reach the light of wisdom. Now, this matches up really well with this persona, so I'm going to pretend that that's why his robes are yellow. Daisoujou is in the Hierophant Arcana, not Death, which I originally assumed, like an insensitive bastard. Hierophant's meanings of spiritual knowledge and commitment would be enough for me to say it's good, but there is a little more to it. A Hierophant is a person, especially a priest, that interprets and explains religious and esoteric mysteries. Granted, it's more associated with Greek mystery cults, but by definition that fits this persona. Much of his moveset is composed of light and healing moves. Despite his appearance, this does fit, as it was believed that successful completion of this rite removed you from the cycle of reincarnation, making it holy. That's neat, but these aren't the most interesting moves he gets. Since P3, Daisoujou is the only persona that naturally learns the move Samsara. Samsara is a concept in many Eastern religions, including Buddhism, that is the cycle of birth, death, and reincarnation that the practice's whole thing is trying to escape. Absolutely fantastic! His trait is Draining Mouth, which I feel kind of is the opposite of the point, but maybe it means the draining away of worldly connections in preparation for the rite or something? His items are also pretty good. In P3P, he gives a skill card for Dairahan. In P5, it's instead Makoga. In Royal, he gives either the Spiral Blessing Ring or Divine Ring, giving the wearer the corresponding skill. Again, light and healing moves. These work really well. In Q, he gives a card for Purifying Rain, which cleanses the party of all binds and ailments. Very fitting. Finally, Q2, he gives a card for Bless Amp, making Bless skills stronger. Basically, all of his items are great. Overall, I'd say this is a fantastic design for this persona. The physical design is spot on, the moves are awesome, the items fit super well, the Arcana is perfect, the trait is arguable, but with everything else, it's absolutely fantastic. Like 95% at least. I have been waiting to get to this one because I already knew about this one and it's absolutely insane and I love that. From what I was able to find about Shingon, it seems to be an intersection of Buddhism, Shintoism, and some Japanese mountain cults that turns into this just interesting faith system that has things like this going on. Initially, I assumed this persona was going to be Death Arcana, because Mummy, but Hierophant makes so much sense with the background. It also brought to mind an opinion I have. Because of his appearance, he looks like he would be, dark or something, but he's not. He's holy. He's theoretically a good thing. And it reminds me a lot of depictions of the Grim Reaper in media, where he's supposed to be evil and dark, but it's he's a good guy, because he's taking your soul away after you die, but he doesn't kill you. He acts as a psychopomp. He just takes your soul where it goes. So he should be represented as a holy creature instead of a terrifying monster. At least I think so. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Let me know who you want to see next time in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Every Persona Explained.